Hello everybody, thank you for watching. So I'm back today with another makeup look. We're going straight in with the eyes this time. So I'm just priming my lids using some Urban Decay priming potion and then blending that in using a damp beauty blender. This is just going to lay a base down for our shadows and mean that everything looks a lot more blended and the pigment shows up in the eyeshadows. Okay, so dipping into our Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, we're going to start with our transition shade, which is the shade Limit, and with a fluffy brush I'm just going to push that through our crease back and forward. It's just going to act as a transition shade for the other colours to blend into, so when we start picking up our darker colours and putting our darker colours through the crease, that it slowly blends out into nothing on the brow bone. Okay, now using a small angled brush, I'm using one from Real Techniques. I'm picking up the darker shade in the palette, which is called Black Heart, and we're just creating a line through our crease. This is where we're going to cut it from, and we're going to blend upwards from there and put our lighter shadows below. So it doesn't have to be a crisp line, it can be messy, it will neaten itself up throughout the rest of the look. So just apply this throughout your crease. You can have it higher than I have or lower than I have, it's just your personal preference. And just get that colour laid down, and then we're going to start to go in and blend it out. Okay, so now that we've laid that darker colour down in our crease and it's all smoky and blended, we're going to go in with the shade Nuna from the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and we're just going to go over everything that we've done, just smoking it out a little bit more, deepening up the colour, just so we get that nice blend from the dark line in our crease all the way up to our brow bone. And now I'm going to be picking up the 3 shimmery shades in the palette, Dust, Buzz and Trick. These look beautiful when applied wet, so I have sprayed a little bit of setting spray on my brush. This is a small flat top brush, and I'm just patting this onto the lid, trying to get as much pigment as I can. And this is where I'm going to be crisping up that line. I still wanted it to be smoky, so I didn't want a really harsh line like some cut crease looks have. So I'm just applying this all over the lid. Okay, so now that all our shadow shades are laid down and blended to how we wanted them to look, I'm just going to apply some winged liner. I'm using Kat Von D's Trooper liner, and this is where the sellotapes are really handy because it allows us to get that perfect wing without making any mistakes. So I'm just applying that here. I only wanted a small wing for this look today. I wanted to keep all the focus on the blended out eyeshadows. However, if you feel more comfortable with a bigger wing, then go ahead and do it. So I'm going to zoom you out now, and we're just applying our first primer. This is Benefit Professional, and I just apply this to the centre of my face. I just find that I have quite a lot of open pores in that area, and this just helps to fill it all in, and I blend it in using a damp beauty blender. And then I'm going in with my second primer, which is more of a hydrating primer. This is the Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer, and I just apply this all over my face. I do find that I do have very dry skin, so I like to apply this first just as a base for my foundation, and again blending this in with a damp beauty blender. Okay, so now I'm going in, we're doing a little bit of colour correcting. I did use a new face mask the night before, and so my skin was looking a little bit on the red side. So I'm just using this NYX HD green concealer. Obviously green counteracts the red in people's skin, so I'm just applying this to the areas where I notice more redness and blending this in with a damp beauty blender. Now you do want to take your time to blend this in, otherwise it can leave a green tinge on your skin, so just keep pushing it into the skin until you see it all disappear. Okay, so for foundation I'm using the Marc Remarcable foundation. Now I do just want to say that on camera this is coming off so yellow, and when I apply it, it literally makes my whole face look like it's yellow. But I promise you that by the end of the tutorial it doesn't look like that, and it doesn't look like that in real life either. It's just my lighting is making my face look super yellow. But I do love this foundation. It is really nice coverage and it makes your base look really flawless. I'm blending it in using a Tarte double-ended kabuki brush. I got this in a set when I ordered my Tarte foundation. Okay, so now that that's all blended into our face, I'm just going to go in with some concealer. This is the Bourjois Radiance Reveal one. It's really liquidy and light, so I'm just applying a little bit of this underneath our eyes just to counteract any dark circles. As we've gone quite heavy and purpley toned on the top of the eye, I don't want to have any dark circles or anything underneath, so I'm just applying this and then blending in with a damp beauty blender. Okay, so now that we've applied our concealer, I'm going to go in and do some liquid contour. So I'm using a foundation. This is the L'Oreal True Match, and I'm just using a angled foundation brush just to apply this down the tops of my cheekbones, and I go in on my forehead and my chin. Now I like to use a damp beauty blender just to blend this into the skin. It does take a little bit of blending, so just be patient and continue to blend and blend. Make sure your beauty blender is nice and damp, otherwise it's not going to blend in as well as you want it to. And I'm just going back and forth over these areas, and this is when my face starts to look a bit more to life rather than yellow. Okay, so now going in with a little bit of Rimmel Stay Matte Translucent Powder. I'm just lightly powdering my face. As I mentioned, I do have really dry skin, so I don't really need to over powder, but I just wanted to put a little base down so that when we go in with our bronzer and our blusher, there's something for it to stick to. But if you are someone that finds you get really oily, then this is when you'd want to apply the powder that you usually would, especially in your T-zone. picking up some of the Tom Ford bronzing powder. This stuff is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. This was from a summer collection from Selfridges, I think last year, but I think they brought it out this year again. I'm just applying this over where we've contoured, just to bring some light to the face and some warmth to the face. So I'm just applying this in circle motions on the tops of my cheekbones and my forehead, just where the sun would naturally hit if you were having a suntan. This is a Bobbi Brown blush trio. I believe I got this a few Christmases ago in a limited edition, but I believe that you can get the blushes as singles. I'll link all the information down below. Just using a small fluffy brush to apply this to the tops of the cheekbones. I prefer to apply my bronzer just to the outside of the cheekbones rather than the uppers of the cheeks. I think it just flatters me better. Okay, so now we're going in to finish off the underneath of the eyes. So I'm going back in with that angled brush we used for the crease and just applying that dark shade Black Heart to the outer corners of my lower lash line, and then bringing the glittery shimmery shades we used on the mobile eyelid into the inner corner, just smoking this out to match the top of our eyelids. Okay, so now for my favourite part of the tutorial, we're adding in some glow. So I'm just dipping into the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. I absolutely love these. They're so pigmented and just so beautiful on the skin. So I'm just blending this into the tops of our cheekbones. I put a little bit down my nose, a little bit on my forehead above my brows, and just on my Cupid's bow, and then went back in with my beauty blend just to make sure everything was blended out. And just to complete the look, I'm going in with Kylie Cosmetics Posy K on the outside of my lips, just filling them in and doing some slight lines just to make the lips look fuller and bigger. And on the centre of the lip, I'm applying my favourite of the collection, Cocoa K, and that's just a light baby pink just to finish off with the lips. Okay, and that's our look completed. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more looks coming up like this. Comment below and tell me what you'd like to see next. Next tutorial up will be next Friday, and that will be a festival inspired look with a mermaid theme to it, so keep tuned for that. Once again, thank you for watching. Bye.